and then she looks me dead in my eye, and then looks at my ID, and then looks at me, and looks back at my ID, and then looks at me, and at this point, I know that she knows that I know that she's suspicious of me. Now, I'm about to get real political here, so if you got them sensitive Twitter fingers, you probably should not be watching this video at all. But you can still like the video and support black businesses. Anyways, I was never ever the type to pay attention in school. So if you are a young, uneducated dumbass such as I, then you may be thinking you should not be voting for the next person who leads this country and may bring us to war. Well, I'm here to inform you that you couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the most uneducated of people are the ones voting are the ones voting today. Because the educated people know that your vote barely even matters in the first place. Because regardless of your vote, the same 10 baboons in chairs are going to be deciding for your state who they want in office anyways. Educated people know that America is not a real democracy. Hell, I would even argue that half of America isn't even real at all. Like, take the state of Wyoming, for example. Off the top of your head, can you name one fact about Wyoming? I'll wait. Me neither. And do you know why that is? Because that shit ain't real. Nigga, like, let me write that down. I'm gonna make a whole video about that. So I'm gonna be telling you about my experience voting and why you should never do it. Well, if you're dumb, that is. So, the 2020 presidential election featuring Joe Biden and Donald Trump. I had the privilege of being on the sidelines and cheering to see who wins. So if you didn't know, who you're voting for is supposed to be a secret. So, as soon as I entered the voting line, one of the first things my people told me is that to avoid conflict, you're not allowed to wear any propaganda of the person you're voting for or against, or you will be escorted off of the premises. So as soon as I heard this, I took a look around and thought, man, I know exactly who everybody in here voting for. Not only because of the color that they're wearing, but let's be real here for a second. It's not that hard to spot a Trump supporter from a crowd. Y'all already know what I'm talking about. Overalls, beard belly, probably standing 6 feet away from the nearest Negro. You get the picture. And all I know about Biden supporters is that 98% of the black people that walk in are probably voting for Biden for the same reason that all the other ones are. He's not Trump. And everybody knows if you ain't vote for Joe,
and you ain't black.
And with white people on the other hand, it's about a 50-50 chance that you're about to go in there and vote with your eyes closed anyways. It really doesn't matter who y'all vote for. Anyways, when I got to the front of the line, the first thing they do is ask for your ID. So I gave it to the lady, and then she looks me dead in my eye, and then looks at my ID, and then looks at me, and looks back at my ID, and then looks at me, and at this point, I know that she knows that I know that she's suspicious of me. For like no reason, that's obviously me. Take a look at this ID one more time, huh? You think I came all the way over here to commit voter fraud? I ain't see you do none of this for all them white people who came in this line. So what's your problem with me? Bitch, give me my ID. Alright. Obviously none of that was said, but she was taking mad long trying to figure out if that was me or not. So I go into the voting booth, pick the president I want, and go to the next section. Now, something I failed to mention to y'all is that I'm not only voting for the president I want. I also am voting for some of the laws that I want in my state. And before I even came here, I already knew what one of the questions was because somebody had already told me. It was as simple as, abortion cool? Question mark? So, that happened to be the first question on there. So I took a good look at it, and then it hit me. That lady outside the booth wasn't trying to figure out if that was me on the ID or not. She was just trying to get a good look at me saying, I know this nigga stupid. Should he even be voting? And man, when I tell you, she was completely right. Because I looked at this question and I didn't know what the fuck was in front of me. Because the question didn't say, do you think abortion should be legal? The question said, do you support an amendment declaring that to protect a human life, a right to abortion and the funding of abortion shall not be found in the Louisiana Constitution? What? Now, I knew what the question was asking. They just worded it so stupidly to where I didn't know whether to vote yes or no. Now, I am a firm supporter of the fuck them kids movement, but I didn't know what answer was fuck them kids. So I spent a clean 5 minutes rereading this question over and over trying to figure out what is the right answer. Literally all y'all had to say was, abortion cool? Question mark? But eventually I decipher the code a little bit and I give my best guess of what's the answer. And then I look at the bottom of the screen and I see it. How many of these do I have to answer? Bruh, I swear to God, the first question was like child's play to the rest of these.
You think this is funny? Join with me?
If I knew what the first question was before I even came here and I still couldn't answer it, what makes you think I can answer the rest of these? Bruh, I swear to God, one of the questions was looking like, do you believe that in the state of Louisiana, that the purchase of the large gas lights in the space is false due to conflicting evidence we have found using the theory of consigliothesis? What? Causes the strengths of contortional drift doesn't hinder the progression of the faulty and push field energy conversion. What the fuck? Bruh, I was taking so long to answer these questions that somebody came tap me on my shoulder and asked, hey, is everything okay over here? Yes, everything's fine. Just give me a little time, man. You best believe after I left, I felt like an absolute disgrace to America because I have absolutely no idea what I just voted for. There's a possibility that I voted for a law that said once a person reaches the age of 70, you can legally just smother them out and put them out of their misery. Jamal, nigga, I don't want to smother the elderly. So overall experience, 0 out of 10 would not recommend because I don't believe that anybody knows what they're doing when they're voting. So yeah, don't do that. It's only up from here.
I'm trying to get rich, not ready. Yeah, fuck a foreign, we done spent the pin up in the Audi. Came here with the slugs and you know he killing everybody. Taking all these perks, trying to make it work, fuck it on my body. Fuck it, I'ma go hop in a Mozzie. Can't let no fun nigga try me. These niggas be pussy, they always be high. If he talk it down, I get it on slide. Had to run me a check, no more waxing for rides. Gotta roll me a blunt, be trying to get high. If that nigga run up, send his ass to the sky. I know niggas who living but ready to die. I got racks in my pocket, my jeans and my nine.